Now we have these floating share buttons here on the left, but sometimes it's nice to also have some share buttons at the top of a blog post or even at the bottom of a blog post to really encourage people to share a specific post or to share our content. And using SumoMe, we could actually add, in addition to these floating social share buttons, we could add some buttons to the top and even the bottom of a specific blog post and such. But there's another plugin that I like to use because it creates some really big, long, wide buttons that make the social share buttons really stand out. So if we go to our dashboard, we'll go to Plugins, Add New, and search for Mashshare. And it's called Mashshare because this plugin mimics the share buttons on Mashable. So it has a counter and it has these really wide, big share buttons that really encourage people to share and take notice of these buttons. So let's go back here. We'll just go ahead and install it by hitting install now and then activate the plugin. Upon activation of this plugin, we're automatically taken to the settings area for this plugin so that we can start customizing it. And you can also get it just by scrolling to the bottom of your dashboard. Now we have this Mashshare, and then click on settings. So this is where we're brought to, social networks tab. And so here we can specify how many buttons we want to actually show. We just want 2 buttons, and the ones we want actually are Facebook and Twitter. So check both of those so that people are really pushed to and encouraged to share on Facebook and Twitter. Those are the main social networks that we want people for this website to share content on. And instead of it saying Facebook, I'm going to put a custom name so it'll just say share, and then instead of saying Twitter, it'll say tweet. And you can add more, as I save changes, you can add more social networks, but you have to pay money. So if you do want other social networks, then you click on add-ons, and then in here get this add-on, and in here you can add other things like LinkedIn, Pinterest, and all types of other social networks. But for our purposes, we're just going to enable Facebook and Twitter. Now that we're done with this tab, we're going to click on the visual tab, and within visual we're actually going to click on location and position. So you can have these buttons show up just at the top of your post. You can have them show up at the bottom, or you can have them show up at both. We'll just leave it at top. And then you can pick where you want these buttons to show up. And I want these just to show up on new blog posts, so posts. But that, you can have it show up in other places and such. We'll just leave everything else as is, hit Save Changes. So now we've specified it under location and position to show up at the top on all posts. So this is a post. Let's refresh it and see what it looks like, and here it is. So at the top, we don't have it specified to show at the bottom, just the top of all posts. This is a post. So here you can see there's the counter, which shows the number of shares, and then these 2 big buttons encouraging people to share on Facebook and Twitter. And again, you can add other social networks, but it does cost money if you would like to have those other buttons. But as you can see, it looks pretty similar to that of Mashable. Within the visual tab, let's now click on Customize. And in here, we can customize other things. So round shares, instead of saying 1,000, it'll be 1K. And animate shares, so when this number, let's say it's 10, instead of just when they load the page automatically showing 10, it will start counting one by one until it gets to 10. So a cool little animation. You can change it from saying shares down here to say anything you want. It doesn't have to just say shares. And then the Twitter handle, so let's put ours in. Twitter handle without the @ symbol. And so when we refresh this, when I click on this to tweet, it has the via and then our Twitter handle. And then there's other things you can further customize with these buttons, but we're just going to leave all this other stuff as is and click on the General tab. Now here on the General tab, some of the main things to look at. So share count, we can hide it. We can hide share count until it gets to a specified number. So let's say we don't, it looks bad if it says, 0 shares. So we can wait until it gets to 10 shares. Hit Save Changes. And so since it doesn't have 10 shares, when I refresh this page, you'll see the share counter is just completely gone. So it won't show until it gets to a certain point. But for our purposes, we're actually just going to disable share count completely. So you can just click right here and it will permanently be off no matter how many shares it is. So let's go ahead and hit Save Changes. And if you scroll down, there's other things you can do, like exclude it from certain pages and posts, but not others. Yeah, a lot of other things you can do to customize this plugin, but we'll just leave the other stuff as is. So right now, this is how it looks. We have these share buttons that are always going to be here on the left, but then at the very top of a post, we'll have this share on Facebook and tweet, so that people are really encouraged to share the blog posts on their Facebook or on their Twitter. For this website, we're going to have the Mashshare and the SumoMe floating share buttons. And the reason being is because I really want to encourage them right off the bat to share on especially Facebook and Twitter. But at the same time, as they scroll down, I want them to always have the option of sharing this content very easily as they scroll down, or no matter where they're at on the site. But for your own personal site, maybe you'll only want to have share buttons here, or you'll only want to have share buttons here and not both. Completely up to your preference.